All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are heading into the final top 8 match here for the Milwaukee Regional Championships between Wolfe Glick and Alex Arand. As we have seen before, this is Wolfe Glick's team here with the Hisuian Zoroark, of course, known as the Wolfe Glick team. Very, very powerful team here by Wolfe. Obviously, a very strong Tailwind hyper-offensive team here with Fake Tears and two very powerful special attackers in that Metal Coat Goldango and, of course, the Terra Normal Life Orb Blood Moon Ursaluna. The Dragonite on this team at 3 attack, Terra Fighting, a very interesting set here by Wolfe. And, of course, Incineroar here with a relatively standard set. The Terra Ghost, a very good defensive Terra, obviously giving it immunity to things like Fake Out, and that Mirror Herb making it very good into King Gambit, which can be a bit of a problem for this team. And, of course, the Zoroark, the star of the show, the bit of malice, the Icy Wind Taunt, just a fantastic support piece for Wolfe's team here. And on Alex's side of things here, we have a team that has actually been picking up quite a bit in usage recently. I believe it won a regional not too long ago, and this is the team built around Terra Electric, Leftovers, Yawn, Blood Moon, Ursaluna, an incredibly powerful balanced team, right? So, of course, we have that Incineroar here with the standard set. We got that knockoff for Party Shot, Fake Out, and Flare Blitz goggles to give you the immunity to the Amoonguses. Of course, Blood Moon, Ursaluna, as we said, the Blood Moon, the Earth Power, the Yawn, a very strong set. The Sneasler set that has been rising up quite a bit recently, of course, that Terra Flying Grassy Seed with Acrobatics. Sword Stance on this Pokemon honestly just allows it to play a very bulky variant, which I do think is very, very good in this metagame. Of course, Goldango with the stock standard here, the Terra Water Life Orb Nasty Plot set, very, very good. Of course, the Alola Ninetales here with the Encore Blizzard Icy Wind, just good speed control, good damage, and Encore is incredibly frustrating to deal with. And of course, Rillaboom, one of the main reasons Blood Moon Ursaluna on this team is just able to thrive, right? With grassy terrain and leftovers, this Pokemon becomes incredibly hard to deal with. And of course, terrain right now is incredibly good. It allows the Goldango to set up and heal through the Life Orb. It allows the Sneasler to set up as well. Just incredibly powerful in the current metagame. All right, here we are jumping into things on Alex's side of things here. We have the Goldango plus the Rillaboom, and on Wolfe's side of things, we have the Blood Moon, Ursaluna, and the Goldango. Let's see, though, are either of these mons currently the Zoroark? And yes, it is actually. The Goldango here is disguised as the Zoroark, meaning Wolfe technically does actually have the speed control here, because I would assume Wolfe Glick's Blood Moon Ursaluna here should outspeed a Goldango after an Icy Wind. Of course, a Protect right now, pretty safe on Wolfe's side of things. Wolfe also, throughout this entire tournament, has been very, very sneaky with how he hides this Zoroark on lead. Of course, we did see against Leonard earlier today that he did actually take 2 Super Fangs on turn 1 of game 1 and 2 into that Hisuian Zoroark here. So very, very scary. We are going to see the Terra Normal coming out right away here, though, from Wolfe Glick. We're going to see here, does Alex call this? Does he go for a Fake Out into this Ursaluna right now? And if so, what does he do with the Goldango right now? We are going to see a Protect from the Goldango, though. This could be really, really bad here for Alex. If this Icy Wind goes off, no, it is just a Grassy Glide there into the Zoroark. Alex making a really, really good read there, saying, hey, I think this is the Zoroark. A very, very good heads-up play here. The Icy Wind should come out here, lowering the speed on the Rillaboom, which should just allow the Ursaluna here to pick up a KO turn 1 with this Blood Moon here. Very, very good chip damage, and we are going to see the Blood Moon come out here. This should definitely be enough to one-shot after that chip there from the Icy Wind. And it does. Wolfe Glick takes a very, very good turn here in game 1. Of course, the Goldango, though, is still fully healthy. I'm sure Alex is kind of kicking himself there for not just clicking Make It Rain. But, of course, Icy Wind into Earth Power on Wolfe's side of things there could have been devastating for the Goldango. And I think Alex realizes this is a very, very important piece in the win here. In his game plan, sorry, to get the win. Of course, if the Ninetales can come out right now, it's actually just going to be the Sneasler. This also very, very good. Of course, Sneasler right now should be able to threaten a KO into the Zoroark with the Acrobatics at this range, and also a KO into the Blood Moon Ursaluna right now with the close combat. So Wolfe does have to make a call here, because something like a CC plus Shadow Ball could be devastating into the Ursaluna right now. It should catch both mons pretty comfortably. We did see it was Whimsicott and Goldango there, but of course, Wolfe right now, he's going to have to weigh up his options here. He's going to need to make a big call, because again, if this is something like a CC into the Ursaluna, if he's able to protect and get that Icy Wind off, once the Whimsicott's able to touch the field, it's able to get up that Tailwind, all of a sudden Goldango should be able to outspeed the Unburdened Sneasler here at -1. Wolfe right now is just thinking through. Of course, the Earth Power does threaten to KO into both slots. The Hyper Voice, gets good chip into the Goldango. It should do a lot of damage to that Sneasler as well. It looks like we are going to see Wolfe here making the call that he is going to aim down the Zoroark here. What will Alex aim for here? It is going to be a close combat into that Ursaluna, and that is all it held. The Ursaluna held. The Sneasler just doesn't have enough damage, but very likely, yes, a Make It Rain will come out here, dealing incredible damage right now to Wolfe's side of the board. That's a very, very good turn there for Alex, though, getting that Ursaluna without it being able to attack. And Wolfe Glick, unfortunately, making the wrong call. Wolf could have gone the other way there. He could have gone Protect with the Ursaluna, gone for the Bitter Malice, potentially into either slot, though, or even just an Icy Wind. Either would have been fantastic there, but now Wolf all of a sudden is on the back foot, because right now, while neither of these Pokemon technically do that much to Sneasler, I would like to think that an Acrobatics plus a Shadow Ball probably would be enough, and I think Wolf realizes that, so we do see him here going for the Whimsicott. I would like to think in this current position, Wolf should actually be able to outspeed the Sneasler with his Zoroark in a Tailwind right now. A lot of the time, these Sneaslers with these Grassy Seeds do tend to go very bulky and only hit around 157. I would definitely bet that Wolf right now is a timid Zoroark, which would likely outspeed it. But what is Wolf going to do here? Obviously, he's looking at potentially going for an Encore, right? Which could be very, very bad. I think for Alex here, looking at that Goldengo, oh, this is really scary for Wolf right now, because a Make It Rain obviously would just pick up a KO on his Whimsicott here. He's saying, hey, I don't need the speed control, which I think does make a little bit of sense. I wouldn't mind potentially seeing him trying to KO the Goldengo here, but we are going to see Alex making a switch. I think this is going to be a pretty bad turn for Wolf, unfortunately. The Incineroar, though, so well positioned in this endgame here. Of course, Knockoff is really good into the Zoroark, and a Flare Blitz into the Whimsicott slot. Basically, no good switch-ins here for Wolf. We are going to see the Goldengo come in this turn here, though. But again, you know, what can Wolf do here? Very likely a Make It Rain should just come out here, unless it's a Shadow Ball. If I had to predict, though, this should just be a Terra Water, Make It Rain, pick up that Whimsicott this turn, and then, of course, at that point, the Incineroar is just so well positioned for the end game here that it really shouldn't matter. But we are going to see Alex. He's going for the Terra. What did he decide to lock into here? The Encore from Wolf obviously will fail, as the Incineroar did switch in there. But it's just a nasty plot. Very, very good call there by Alex. Just saying, hey, you're not going to touch me this turn. A very safe play there. Just, you know, get that fake out on the board here. Not that it really does anything in this game. There are two Ghost types and a Covet Cloak here on the Whimsicott. But now, all of a sudden, Wolf's back is against the wall. You cannot click Fake Tears right now. I think Wolf is probably just hoping he gets a crit right now on a Shadow Ball. Potentially something like a Shadow Ball crit and a Moonblast could be very good, but no! Wolf, he doesn't go the Tailwind. The Whimsicott was just slower than the Goldengo. Oh my goodness, Wolfe Glick loses his Whimsicott without it getting anything done that turn. And that should basically just wrap things up here. That is really, really interesting to see the speed stat there on Wolf's Goldengo. The Shadow Ball will come out, barely doing over half there. The Knockoff, though, will finish Wolf's Goldengo. And that should be it for this game. I do not think Wolfe Glick can get through either one of these mons, let alone the three left in the game. And Alex Arand here has taken a very, very commanding game one win here. Incredibly well played there by them. Just, again, calling that, you know, Wolf wasn't going to attack the Goldengo, right? Gets up a nasty plot. Turn one, you know, it looked rough, right? Losing the Rillaboom essentially for Grassy Glide Chip into Zoroark didn't feel that great, but the Sneasler being able to do so much damage to that Blood Moon Ursaluna was just so incredibly powerful for Alex. And of course, Wolf just, at the end of the day, didn't make the correct call. You know, he protected the wrong bond on that turn, and I think it's kind of what cost him in the end here. I think if the Blood Moon Ursaluna had stayed alive for the late game here, and he was able to use that Goldengo to potentially scare out the Sneasler, things could have gone a bit different. Wolf obviously here is thinking things through. If I had to predict here, I think we will see very likely Ursaluna get protected a bit better going forward here. Very nice damage from the Bitter Malice there. Good scouting there for Wolf, just to see how much damage that does. Not doing quite half, but yes, a very, very well played game one there from Alex. Alright, here we are heading into game two. We are going to see the exact same lead here from Alex, the Goldengo plus Rillaboom, and on Wolf's side of things here, we have the Ursaluna paired up with the Whimsicott. Now, are either one of these monsters disguised? It looks like they are not. Of course, this is one of those tricky things, though, when you do have that Hisuian Zoroark in the game. You know, do we see another Grassy Glide potentially into the Whimsicott right now saying, hey, that is the, you know, the Zoroark? Do we see him just say, nah, you're not going to do that? You know, potentially throw a fake out here into the, into the Blood Moon. We are going to see the Blood Moon Ursaluna Protector here, not really showing anything as the Hisuian Zoroark does actually have, or we are going to see the Fake Out too. Great call there by Wolfe. The Hisuian Zoroark does have Protect on it, so that is not showing anything just yet. We are going to see that Tailwind though come out. Very, very important here, I think. As we mentioned in that last game though, of course, the Sneasler here should actually be slower than the, oh, and there's the Make It Rain too. The Sneasler should be slower than the Zoroark in my opinion, so as long as Wolfe does have that in the back here, there is always that option of potentially getting off that Icy Wind, dropping its speed by one stage, which would then allow something like this Goldango to potentially outspeed it in the late game. But look, a very, very good play there for Wolfe, of course. Losing the Whimsicott is not ideal, especially because you could have potentially encored into Fake Out there. But in saying that, this is just a very, very good spot for Wolfe now. He has a full HP Blood Moon Ursaluna. He has that Goldango touching the board right now. Of course, with Goldango touching the board, though, we will not actually get to see a disguised Zoroark later on in this game. But Wolfe right now is putting on a lot of pressure. He's threatening that Nasty Plot here, which very, very good, right? Of course, this is very difficult if you're Wolfe, right? Because you don't want a Terror in front of this Rillaboom, but you also want to make sure that the Rillaboom does go down here. And Wolfe he's making a pretty good mid-ground play. He's saying, hey, if you go for the Terror Water right now to survive, I'm going to deal a lot of damage to you. And he's just saying, hey, you know, I'm betting right now -1. I know this Shadow Ball is not going to carry my Goldango. Therefore, Wolfe can play a bit more aggressive here, plot up in the face of it. And I think this is a really, really good position for Wolfe to be in right now. Yes, he did lose that Whimsicott, but he has the speed control. He has the two big special attackers. And I think this is actually a pretty decent position. We are going to see the Terror here come out first. I believe this should be Wolfe's. Terror normal onto the Blood Moon Ursaluna. It is. The question is, though, what did Alex lock in here? If Alex did lock in this Terror Water right now onto this Goldango, this is an amazing turn here for Wolfe. We are going to see the Grassy Glide come out here into the Blood Moon Ursaluna doing decent chip. The Shadow Ball, though, from Wolfe Glick into the Goldango, which means this will be a one-hit KO. And now the Blood Moon Ursaluna, this will be a single target Hyper Voice, which is going to do insane damage right now to this Rillaboom. I think for Wolfe, you kind of want this to survive just so it's on the board. It's forced to click Grassy Glide again, and it does. But yeah, I do not think it is going to live another one of those Hyper Voices, and all it can really do on this board is click that Grassy Glide, which again, this is where things start to get really, really interesting if you're Alex, right? What do you have in the back? You need that Sneasler right now to remove Wolfe's Blood Moon Ursaluna. The only issue, though, is if you do go the Sneasler, you have nothing for this Goldango. So there is a really good chance you actually have to go into the Incineroar here just to threaten this Goldango. But again, you know, yes, you've got Fake Out pressure right now, but what is stopping just a Shadow Ball plus a Hyper Voice, or a Shadow Ball plus a... I mean, what's stopping a Nasty Plot and an Earth Power here even? Wolfe is in a very, very good position here, I think. This Rillaboom being stuck on the board for Alex, I think is pretty bad, right? It should be carried by Shadow Ball. It should be carried by Make It Rain. We know it's going to get carried by Hyper Voice, so Wolfe just knows, hey, I'm just going to put pressure on this Incineroar slot right now. The Rillaboom really isn't doing that much here. And I think this is a really good position, you know, just again threatening, saying, hey, you know, if this Incineroar goes for a knockoff, goes for a Flare Blitz, it gets bopped right now by this Terra Normal Blood Moon. But if it does go for the Fake Out, then hey, I just got a free Nasty Plot. And we are going to see here, there is the pivot likely into the Sneasler if I had to guess. It is the Sneasler. But Wolfe Glick right now in a very, very good position, because if this Incineroar goes down, all of a sudden Make It Rain should just run away with this game. Are we going to see the Fake Out here? We are going to see the Fake Out. Okay, a very, very good play there by Alex. Very nice mid-ground, but Wolfe right now, he has started to set up. The question is, how does Wolfe want to go about this right now? Because, of course, there is always the potential of you protect, you switch into the Zoroark right now. It gives you an option where you just don't get carried by the CC, and it looks like that is exactly what Wolfe wants to do here. I think he understands, hey, if I can get rid of this Sneasler safely next turn, then all of a sudden I'm in a very, very good position. This Goldango as well feels pretty comfortable. The only thing really threatening it would be a knockoff, and in saying that, you still have, you don't have Terror available, but a bit of Malice into that Incineroar would really lower the damage coming out of a potential knockoff or a Flare Blitz here, which would in turn allow that Goldango to survive one extra turn. So I do really, really like this play. The question is, does Alex go for the close combat into the Hisuian Zoroark here? It is actually just going to be a protect. This is best case scenario for Wolfe Glick here, because now that right slot has to go for a double protect. There's nothing it can do. The Hisuian Zoroark should survive another turn, which means right now a potential Icy Wind into Make It Rain would just spell disaster for that Zoroark. And even then, there's always just the chance as well that Wolfe just goes for the Make It Rain here and the bit of Malice. And that is what he's looking at here, just trying to make sure that Goldango survives another turn. this Sneasler is already in big trouble right now. Of course, as we mentioned, that Icy Wind putting a lot of pressure on him right now. Alex is gonna have to find a way around this, because right now the Make It Rain is just gonna carry that right-hand slot, whether it be the Rillaboom or that Sneasler, and the Incineroar right now is the only way that Alex really has to get through this this Goldango right now.
Yeah, you can't just let a Goldango with nasty pots just sit on the field forever, because it will not.
We are going to see the acrobatics here coming into the Hisuian Zoroark. Doesn't even drop it to the sash. The Bitter Malice will come out though here, dropping that physical attack by 1, getting decent chip. And this is a Metal Coat +2, Make It Rain. This should carry the Sneasler. It does big damage into the Incineroar. And right now, if this Incin does not put Goldango in range of a Grassy Glide, things could be disastrous right now. The Flare Blitz will come out. It is -1. And because of that, the Goldango does hold. And the recoil, though, it's so much damage. All the Pokemon here will heal up just a little bit. But the Grassy Terrain, it's about to disappear. And right now, I think it's very, very safe for Wolfe right now. You just take another turn, you click Protect here, you get another turn of Terrain Recovery here, and then you just guarantee that this Incineroar goes down next turn. You Make It Rain, you Bitter Malice it, you just make sure that this Ursaluna is in a position to win the end game here. Wolfe, though, is just saying, hey, maybe I never died to a crit Grassy Glide here. I think it is definitely safe for Wolfe right now just to go for the double protect, right? Give yourself those extra turns. You're not too worried about speed with these two mons on the board. Of course, your Zoroark here is definitely in one-shot range of the Rillaboom, but if you can just guarantee that Goldango doesn't go down to a Grassy Glide here, it should definitely be able to clean up this game. But we are actually going to see the Terra here coming into the Rillaboom, likely into that Terra Fire. They're giving it the resistance here into the Make It Rain. With the Assault Vest and the Grassy Terrain, it might be enough to survive one more turn, but there really isn't going to be a way for Alex just to remove both of Wolfe's Pokemon next turn with this Rillaboom. If it doesn't get a crit Grassy Glide right now into the Goldango, then the Zoroark should just be able to clean it up, and if it goes after the Zoroark slot, then it ends up in a situation where it's got a Goldango and a Blood Moon Ursaluna staring it down. And yeah, we see that Glide there into the Zoroark, we see the Blitz into the Goldango here. But Wolfe Glick should be able to finish this one off here. He is just one Make It Rain away. As long as the Goldango survives a turn, I think Wolfe is in a very good position. This Incineroar should definitely go down. I do think that the Rillaboom will hold just a little bit. We do see Wolfe, though, going for the Icy Wind, a very heads-up play, saying, hey, if you do gun down my Goldango here and you don't go down, at least on the next turn, I will be able to outspeed you here with the Blood Moon Ursaluna. But of course, Wolfe Glick surviving. You know, as we mentioned, he needed that extra turn just to make sure he wasn't in crit range. And now the Rillaboom speed here has been dropped. The Incineroar speed definitely does not matter, but the Make It Rain will come out, and it's going to be enough. And we are heading to a game 3. A big crit there by Wolfe. Thankfully for Wolfe in the end there, that definitely did not matter, but it forces a game 3. All right, here we are. Game 3 is underway. Alex once again leads with that Goldango in the Rillaboom. And on Wolfe's side of things here, we have the Blood Moon Ursaluna and the Whimsicott. Once again, it looks like there is no disguise on Wolfe's side of the board here. He is just going straight for that Tailwind. Is he going to just go for the Protect again like he did before? He will. Wolfe Glick right now could play this very defensively, similar to last game. Of course, the Terra Normal here does feel pretty necessary. Did he just go for the... Okay, he is looking at that Terra Normal Tailwind here. If he goes for the Terra Normal, he goes for this. This could be big, big damage coming out into Goldango right now. We are going to see here, is this a Terra on Wolfe's side of things? It is that Ursaluna clicking the Terra right now. The question is, though, what did Alex go for here? If he went just straight for the Make It Rain, this could be really, really dangerous for Wolfe. If he went Fake Out Make It Rain here, I think Wolfe's in... He did! This is a disaster for Wolfe Glick if a Make It Rain comes out right now. This will be enough, I believe, to pick up both Pokemon. Oh, the flinch and the Make It Rain. Oh, and it's enough to get both. What? He gets crit. Oh, that's a disaster. I'm assuming based on how Wolfe played that, he must have figured that he was going to survive that Make It Rain there. But a huge, huge crit, putting Wolfe on the back foot. And you can tell just by looking there, he is not too happy with that play. A Protect from Wolfe there was so safe on that Ursaluna. He made a really, really aggressive play, and it just didn't work out. And this is the Incineroar over the Zoroark, meaning Wolfe's endgame here is going to be very, very difficult. Of course, right now, he is threatening super effective damage into both Pokemon here, but He really needs to get a nasty plot up on that Goldango. The issue is the only way he can safely do that is if he does, you know, go for something like, and I mean, this is it. He's gone for the safe play here. He's saying, hey, you're gonna have to go for that Terra water right now to survive. And oh, this is a disaster for Wolfe right now. He is so far behind in this game. I don't know if he can bring this back. Presuming that Sneasler is in the back here, his Incineroar will not be able to play the game. There is no Terra available. He will just go down to a close combat, which means at some point, even with speed control, Wolfe likely can't get through all these Pokemon. There is a switch by Alex here, so this should be a relatively safe, nasty plot for Wolfe, but it is also going to be Alex's Incineroar hitting the board. Oh, this is a bit of a disaster right now. The Incineroar will just... Getting its attack lowered basically means it just will not be able to help out as much. Of course, we see the double switch here as well. A really, really heads-up play. The Sneasler, though, coming in. Grassy Seed will activate here, which should give a +1 defense to Wolfe's Incineroar, as it does have that Mirror Herb. But yeah, even right now, if Wolfe gets set up, it's still so dangerous, right? Because this Sneasler technically now likely doesn't pick up a KO into Wolfe just because of that +1 defense. But there is now Fake Out on the board into Wolfe's own Incineroar, but of course the Incineroar here on Alex's side of things, threatening big damage into Wolfe's Goldango right now. I think Wolfe's only hope right now is a crit make it rain into this Incineroar. Without it, Incineroar here should be able to survive the turn, deal big damage here into Wolfe's Goldango. I would assume here that Wolfe's Incineroar also will go get very low here to a close combat. And then it all comes down to whether or not the Make It Rain crits. If it crits, Wolfe has a chance. If it doesn't, this feels incredibly rough. And there is the close combat coming out. It should hold thanks to that +1 defense here. And it does. But the question is, can we crit the Incineroar? Make It Rain will come out. Sneasler will definitely go down. But Incineroar does hold. And because of that, Wolfe Glick here is stuck between a rock and a hard place. This Incineroar... It may not pick up a KO here, but it's going to deal a lot of damage. There is the knockoff, though, coming out of Wolfe's Incineroar here. We are going to see now likely a Flare Blitz coming into this Goldango here. It's actually just a knockoff, though, which does allow it to live on 5 HP. But at this range, I would like to think it is definitely in range of the Grassy Glide. Even if it gets another turn of terrain here, though, I don't think it's going to be enough. The Glides were doing around 30 damage in that last game. There is going to be a Goldango here, though, coming out for the side here of Alex, and we are seeing Wolfe just going straight for the aggressive play here. He's looking at that knockoff. There is still a Terra available on Alex's side of the board, I believe. So Wolfe right now is in a little bit of trouble here. The question is, can he bring it back? This Goldango is still +1. He does make a really good read there, though. Getting that Protect there on Alex's side of things. The Make It Rain should definitely put this Incineroar in range of a knockoff, if not just KO it straight up. And it lives on 1 HP, but the knockoff from Wolfe's Incineroar here should be enough to clean it up. And it is. Wolfe right now is back to neutral on this Goldango, but the Rillaboom is about to touch the board here. A very scary position to be in right now. A big question here is now, has this Goldango out-healed the damage that a Grassy Glide can do into it? The Tailwind, though, does go down, and we did see in Game 1 that Alex's Goldango actually did outspeed Wolfe's, whether it be a speed tie or just a straight-up outspeed. That is not ideal here for Wolfe. This is the play I think that Wolfe does need to go for here, though. He does have to go for that crit Flare Blitz right now, but I would like to assume this is just going to be a Terra Water into the Goldango from Alex, just playing it safe. He's played this end game here so well. The Goldango does Terra, and I think Wolfe realizes it. Yep, without a crit Flare Blitz there was really no way that Wolfe could get through this Goldango. Even a crit Shadow Ball likely would not have been enough. I do expect to see that Grassy Glide coming into that Goldango slot there. No, and it's actually just a Fake Out into the Rillaboom. What a well-played endgame this was by Alex Arand here. And this should be enough now just to wrap up this game. The Incineroar goes down. The Goldango is in range of Shadow Ball. It is in range of the Wood Hammer. And I believe that is it here for Wolfe Glick. He will be out here in the top 8. A disaster turn 1 for him here. I would have loved to have seen what would have happened if Wolfe, 1, doesn't get crit, but also 2, what would have happened if Wolfe just protected? It was such a good board state for him, I think, had he just protected. Of course, you know, he made the call there that the Goldango was actually going to go for very likely just a nasty plot. But that is it. Goldango goes down, and Alex has eliminated Wolf here in the top 8 of the 2026 Milwaukee Regional Championships.